Good afternoon, everybody. I almost said good morning. I did. I almost said good morning just then. I had to catch myself. Welcome to
Well,
the.
for some of us, it is.
Oh, yeah. Hey, good morning, Will. What's up? Welcome to the Coffee Table Talks. Today we have Ammar L. Ammar. So nice they
I
named him
see.
twice.
Absolutely.
CTO, CISO, all the chiefs things. Because that's what happens when you work in higher ed.
Yeah, you get a lot of hats. You get a lot of hats.
Yeah, all the hats, all the hats. And with me, as always, is my wonderfully beautiful co-host Will McCullen, the program manager for at the IT Center for Excellence at PIMA Community College in Tucson, Arizona. In the background today, we have an official moderator with all of her controls, Meg Jett. Thank you, Meg Jett, for
Hey,
moderating.
Meg.
So if you have questions or comments during the conversation that we're going to have today, Meg is going to be the one responsible for highlighting it, and she's not going to miss any of them because I miss them and I need a person, and she's the person. So we're excited. If you guys caught us last week, you got a brief introduction, surprise introduction on Meg's end too. She looked very surprised when I was just like, "Oh, there's Meg, camera on." She was like, "Hi." It was a lot of fun.
She was surprised. Yeah.
She was so surprised. So, Mar, thank you for coming to hang out with us today. I'm really excited. I was taking a look at some of your background stuff, and you have come up through some trenches. I come across CISOs that have always been in a managerial role or a director role. It's like they just landed that role as soon as the 90s hit. And then there's some of them that like started out doing all of the work and all of the stuff. And I think that gives you a really cool perspective on the teams that you manage. And that's why I was excited.
Yeah, no, it makes a difference, right? Because the way I see CISOs is like you have the ones that have like come up the policy, kind of the academic, the GRCs, like understanding like the governance stuff. And then you got like the technical people with hands on keyboard who understand the technology, then pick up the rules and regulation behind it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so I think when you start understanding technology before you start understanding all your governance stuff, it makes it a lot easier when you read through documentation like this is wrong, this doesn't make sense, and whoever wrote this was dumb. You know, you could start accurately making those assessments.
I like, and I don't think one is better than the other. I just think it's a neat way to like, I don't know. I came up that way in my previous life in a different industry, starting, at the entry level, more entry level. Not that I think analyst is entry level, but starting more entry level. And then it gives you the opportunity to actually get your hands on the tasks that everyone's completing. So whenever you do get up to that managerial director, head of the team, you understand what you're asking of your team on a more personal level. I think that gives you a lot of empathy just out the gate. Like you don't have to wonder and put yourself in their shoes because you've already been there.
Yeah, I mean, if you, how can you be a CISO if you've never had to work at incident, and then your team's having to work at incident, you're just getting updates. It's like, I definitely have a lot of empathy. I'm like, all right, guys, well, this is going on, and you brought it to me, and you're remediating it. I'll buy you lunch. Sorry, it's going to be maybe dinner too because it's going to be.
Yeah. So where are you at right now? Just so I know where you are, but so everybody else knows, where are you leading the security team at?
Oh, at a University of Tennessee Health Science Center out of Memphis, Tennessee.
Very cool.
So we're medical school.
Nice. So are there a lot of differences between running a security program specific to that environment rather than higher ed as a greater whole? Like, what are some of the differences?
We have so we're considered a wholly as a covered entity like a hospital, right? So everything's going to be regulated by HIPAA. We're going to have PII, EPHI, just kind of thrown everywhere. Plus, we have a research arm, which does research from everything from stop smoking to COVID research to curing cancer to making the most genetically pure mice on the planet to do research on, right? That have a single genome that is replicable, so you can go through and I'm trying to think of the best way to explain. Predict what's going to happen with different treatments, right? Just so it's absolutely fascinating because there's so many different aspects to a medical university.
Yeah,
this is a traditional undergrad.
there's elements of higher ed too that a lot of other folks in the industry aren't aware of, right? Is that higher ed, by its nature, in its DNA, is an element of sharing. And so, an element of providing resources to students.
Right.
And so you have a network that is a lot harder to just simply clamp down because you have to provide those services. You are the provision for, part of it is business and research, and the other part of it are students.
Yeah.
That's got to be a hard balance.
It gets to be sometimes, and they're like, why are you taking away admin rights? I'm like, why do you need them? It's like, what part of your job requires you to have it? It's like, you need to install one thing once a year. Congratulations. We're more than happy to help you that one time once a year. So it's always those kind of battles, right? You'll have researchers who want access to bare metal, but then again, you have admins who just don't care. It's like, I just want to be able to stream YouTube and do my work. So it's kind of fun. And then students want to come in, they bring their own devices, and you'll see them studying everywhere, because usually in a medical school, it's like people who want to be doctors are, for the most part, highly motivated, always studying, doing their own kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, you hope that's the doctor you're going to get.
Yeah. Like, I always try to remember the ones that are going to the library, studying when I'm leaving for the day. I'm like, okay, you're going to be all right. And it's like,
yeah,
I'll see you again.
Yeah, but then also being a research institute, right? You have those elements of adversaries that are wanting to steal intellectual property right, left, and forward, and are hitting you daily by the ton.
All the time. Just every once in a while, you'll walk across campus. One time we did have an incident with some dropped USBs with forged HR documents that had malware in them. That's cool. Not something you see all the time, but luckily our EDR picked it up at the time. It's like, oh, you got a lot of weaponized documents on this very orange USB that you found that you decided to plug in. And I'm like, I have a lot of questions for you. I'm not mad at you. And this is why I'm in cybersecurity. I'm like, this is cool, but this is cool in the wrong way. I mean, I think I saw all cyber professionals. So I was like, oh my God, this is so awesome. But oh, it's so awesome. It's like,
right,
you got to have that moment, right?
Yeah. Don't do that. Yeah, I'm always flabbergasted when people pick up anything and plug it into their device. I'm like, do you also believe in the 5, 10, and 15-second rule when you drop sandwiches on the floor and you just put that in your mouth? Is that also you? Because
it's like, you just gonna plug that in there? All right, buddy.
Woo, that's living on the edge, buddy. So that's how you got started, right? Was you were picked up a USB and accidentally plugged it in, and you were like, "That's it, I got a career in cybersecurity now."
It was me. It was me. I was so enamored by it. I'm like, you know what? This is really cool. I got now. I want to get other people and protect them.
I think that actually is how I got into it a little bit.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It wasn't me that got it. It was a friend of ours, and anyway, I was young and dumb and I didn't know better then, but we broke into some people's emails and I'm a better person now. Okay. That's all I gotta say.
Allegedly.
I am.
Don't give up evidence.
It wasn't. It was one of those highly dramatic things that happened in my early 20s where me and my husband were both on either side of our workstations, like trying desperately to hack into this poor lady's email account, and we got in and it was not good, and then they got a divorce. But anyway, I'm a better person now. I'm a better person now.
I'm sure she's happier now. I mean, that's how it works. It's fine. It's all fine.
This is fine. That's not. I didn't expect this morning, and this is why I don't script anything, because look how fun that just was.
If you decide to write that apology email this afternoon after this is all done, that's up to you and your conscience, not for the rest of us.
It's a bad day. Look, that was almost 20 years ago. Okay.
That's up to you. Like you, whatever you can live with.
Is there a statute of limitations on the apology for that? I don't think so.
If you feel like it directly, contributed to her divorce,
That's awesome. Welcome to the Coffee Table Talks, everybody, where Rachel's having a moral dilemma. So glad you could make it. Anyhow, let's talk about how you got into cybersecurity, not me. Let's stop talking.
Yeah, so we can go about that. It's like, which is also fun. I have my cyber team is pretty awesome, right? So like I took people who were really interested in cyber, and they were really good software techs and in the respective fields, and then brought them in and started investing in them, and they just started taking off, right? Because in higher ed, it's like we're not going to give you 6 figures for being an awesome cyber analyst. We will give you experience and education and that value. So after we were in the middle of doing a pen test, because I'm kind of a purple team, and halfway through, the MGM hack happened, and then they found themselves inspired. So what they did is they set up a laptop, and they called in to the service desk impersonating one of the professors, put on social engineering tactics like high pressure, and had them log in. It's like, I need to go to this Zoom meeting right now. This Zoom meeting is the most important Zoom meeting ever. It decides the fate of the universe. If you don't sign in and get away from this UAC prompt on my Windows machine because I don't have admin rights, and give me your username and password, then what will happen is Thanos will conquer the universe and we'll all be killed. So they were able to social engineer the service desk into bomb guarding remote access into the machine, and they had a fake UAC prompt in a script. So they put in their credentials, captured it to a text file, and then launched just a regular Zoom installer behind it. And I was like, I have to give you guys prompts. That's ingenious. That is absolutely ingenious. And all it took was like a whole, I'd say the entire call was about 2 minutes. And like they just folded under the pressure. It was great. Cool, but not cool. Now there's remediation training policies and procedures and being put in, to do the remediation acts, but the red teaming part was pretty awesome.
Well, that's also a big part of it. Like we said, right? EDU is a trusting space. We're trying to give. We're trying to help out. We're trying to. It's hard.
Oh man, I get that argument a lot, especially when we start security training out. They're like, "Well, we want to share data." I'm like, "That is absolutely awesome. I want you to share data. I want you to share all the resources you can, but I don't want you to inadvertently share our infrastructure with a bad actor." So, I mean, there are absolutely safe ways and secure ways to share and build things out, right? But let's just not do it the dumb way first time around.
Why not? Why? I like it. It's always the simple thing.
Yeah, just right click, left click, share, choose everybody, right? It's fine. It's all fine.
Yeah, so kind of across the nation, at universities especially, there's kind of a struggle, I think, with whether IT is centrally handled or whether the individual colleges handle that. Now, medical is probably kind of unique, right? Because you're very different from the rest of the institution. Do you have any wrestles along those lines? Or I probably shouldn't ask that, should I? Because that's getting into specific.
No, it's fine. So we're a sister university to the University of Tennessee, Knoxville. So we have shared resources, of course, because you have to have that collective bargaining with like Microsoft, because otherwise they'll charge you a little more. So, and that's something common that we're all going to use. Like everybody's going to use Microsoft O365 now, because that's the easier way of doing things. Everyone's going to try to start going to cloud tenants because that's just easier to manage overall. But then you start getting to the localized campuses, you're going to have different pockets of technology that are utilized, different teaching tools, different classroom environments. Like we have a complete simulation center where pregnant dummies scream at residents that they're having a baby, and it's very lifelike, and their heads are turning and their mouths are going, ah, and then the baby pops out. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah, that's. I mean, it's okay. You watch it the first time, you're like, that is absolutely disturbing. That's why I'm not a doctor. That's why I went to technology, because I can't. Nobody wants to.
I've had three, and never once has my head done the spinning thing. And
This is what I'm afraid AI to get into, is to adversarial AI to break into my environment and take over these dummies, and they start coming walking out of simulation building. At that point, I'm just going home. I'm not fighting this fight anymore. You don't pay me to fight robotic AI dummies that are screaming obscenities at me as they're coming out of the building. I'm like, nope, there's my line right there.
that's
I know
where
where.
I teach my children to be polite to our Google Homes, and after they ask Google to do something, they say thank you.
I mean, you have to be ready for your AI overlords, because they're keeping a list.
Yes, I'm like, there's no harm in being nice.
No.
Yeah.
That's good to have.
What was that Carol Burnett said about childbirth, right? To get an idea about that, you take your thumb and your forefinger and you take your lower lip. Now you pull it
Yeah,
over your forehead,
over
right?
your forehead. That perfect. Yeah.
Just
Brit-
do all of it.
Britain says yes. Treat AI nice.
Yeah.
We've had a few folks come in. I see Ira came in from LinkedIn. Hey Ira, Jared. Hey Jared. Let's see who else. And Rob. Rob has been hanging out all morning because we got a late start. I'm sorry about that. Again, you guys, just a little scheduling conflict, but we worked it out, and it. He's been just chilling in the YouTube like all morning. Meg was like, "There's people here. Did I say something?" I was like, "Yeah, you should say something." And
Hey,
then Jared
Rachel,
goes,
we've got the best fan base, man. These folks that show up are incredible.
well, I mean, I try to make it easy for everybody too, just to join in and hang out. I think I'm hoping that my easygoing spirit is attracting other easygoing, awesome people. And of course, Will and our guest and stuff. Like that's working out. You guys are rock solid. Thank you so much for doing
I
stuff
tell
like
you,
that.
yeah, I tell people all the time, like, I have a very serious role, so the rest of my life is like, okay, I just kind of be easy with it. But like the
Yeah,
day-to-day stuff is like, I have to, you're making difficult choices, you're trying to make policies, you're trying to do all kinds of stuff that has to be
right.
done. I just need like 10 minutes of not being serious, and that's kind of great.
Exactly. I can always tell when I need a break whenever I'm making this face so long. I have a migraine. You ever done that?
Oh no, the eye twitch.
Yeah, and then I'll get the eye twitch that goes with it. But yeah, whenever
So
that's how I know I need a break is when I make this face too long from either really crappy meetings that I don't want to be in, or
Yeah.
yeah, like reading over something four times, like I'm a lawyer trying to figure out how many ways somebody's going to try and say that policy wasn't worded correctly and there was a loophole in just the wording. I'm like, yeah, I make that face a lot. It's a lot of fun. Reviewing contracts, man, so fun.
Yeah, that's why I believe in having a GRC team, because I have
Yeah,
a.
buddy. Yes, so much.
yeah,
Oh
So,
my
I
god.
would go nuts in that world.
You
yeah,
I, I'm
would?
GRC.
no, just policies and all that kind of stuff. I'm a hands-on keyboard kind of person.
Oh, you're the guy that we make the policies for.
Yeah, yeah.
We're like, no, no. You need boundaries.
No.
Stop it. Don't do that.
Well, yeah, policies and governance, they definitely come in handy. Like, especially when you got people like just want to go rogue and like, I'm going to be a cowboy.
You're
Like, what
like,
apparently, like, I'm good. I could set it up great. I'm like, but can we just have some governance around it, just to say we do, in case anyone comes in from like the outside and puts in an audit?
right. A little bit. We have to have something here. You can't
It's not my,
don't
yeah,
do
it's not
that.
my favorite.
So,
Government with a
so
big G though likes doing it.
what's the most difficult situation you've come through
Ooh,
that you can talk about, right?
Yeah, that you can talk about. That's when
that
they
I
take
can
the
talk
long
about.
pause.
I will talk about some of the interesting things when it comes to higher ed teaching tools. So I will talk about the power of a WYSIWYG. So we have a pretty popular teaching learning LMS that's a WYSIWYG. So it's easy for professors to use, right? They go into it when they're at home, they sign in, they can move the class around with the modules. And it just happened that a professor one time went home and started working, setting up his class. However, his computer was infected and he didn't know. So with the WYSIWYG, you set the page to edit, and he was moving stuff around. But what he didn't know is that he had an injector in his browser that injected code into the class. So all of a sudden, we're seeing alerts on our firewall going to a malware site that would just spike up during the hours of that class and look like all the students were infected with malware. And it's like, this doesn't make sense. And that was about 3 days of digging until we finally started tracking down the use case and see where it starts coming from. Like, okay, great. And then we had to go to his office in the middle of a Zoom meeting. He's like, can you come back? And the answer was no.
Oh.
So we just go ahead and get this fixed right now.
Unfortunately, no. We're doing this now.
It's like, I appreciate your diligence in wanting to teach pharmacology. It's a very important subject. But if you could just not do this at home on your home computer that's infected, that would be great. That would be great.
Very great.
And of course, we see the same kind of stuff that other universities see. A student will get compromised and start sending email to the rest of the campus like, hey, you want this job that pays $400 a week, only takes 10 hours. Love to have you do it. I know I'm a student here. It's fine. Just click on this link. You'll do great. I believe in you.
Ouch, that's rough.
When you're talking about teaching tools, right? Mm-hmm. One of the things that came through our college was some product, and I forget what it was. I wasn't involved with it, but it had some tracking characteristics with the camera, right? Mm-hmm. And so you could use gestures to do things like focus or zoom. And the one for doing focus was this.
Wow.
Can you customize your hand gesture?
That's not something you really want to use with students when you're trying to.
Like, well, look at you, loser.
It was like,
no, I'm adjusting my camera.
No, I'm not thinking like, oh no, that's bad. Let's do less bad. I'm thinking like, how do I turn it up and make it worse? Like if you're gonna offend somebody, let's get offensive. Like, can you customize them? Will, could you customize?
Yeah, this does one thing, this does another thing, and
right. You see where I'm going. My mother-in-law has taught me enough other sign language too.
Wow. You just
I like
nothing
it.
good there. Yeah.
I'm a giant 12-year-old.
No, that's fine. It didn't stop as you get older.
No. You know what? I hold on to that wonderment and imagination in my life because I think that's also why bad guys are good at being bad. It's because they also are imaginative.
Oh, absolutely.
I'd like to be a step ahead of them, please. Thank you. What did Rob say? The middle finger for a disconnected student. You picked up what I was putting down, Rob. You got it. That was light.
Yeah, I was trying not to go there.
My brain went out.
It was probably the network. It's always the network.
That could be something. That could be something right there. Watch, all the developers are now going to be jumping off and trying to figure out how to customize and plugins for all their software. Anyway, sorry.
Well, it's those little things that you need to keep aware of, right? Especially like acronyms. Whoever came up with WinCE, right?
Windows
what? CE back in the day.
Oh yeah,
I remember that.
Gotcha. I was thinking about the really bad ones, like whatever. What was it?
Then they came out with the pre-boot environment. That was always terrible.
hang on, there was one that came out a couple of years ago that, what was it? It was an asset management thing. Cybersecurity asset management. The acronym that our industry and all of its brilliance pinged to that was CSAM. Do you know what CSAM is? It is the most widely and common used acronym for child sex abuse material.
Oh,
Everyone in the industry that does that work knows CSAM as not cybersecurity asset management. It's not what it is.
I guess that's why it's moved to like SBOM, right?
It's just bad. It was bad. I wanted to be on a rampage so bad against everybody from any marketing anything that was like, try our new CSAM. I was like, no, stop it. Stop that. Did you guys research any of this? Stop trying to make fetch happen, Gretchen. Like
Marketing fail 101.
it's so bad. Well, I was volunteering with Levy at the Innocent Lives Foundation then.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why it really got us. So the Innocent Lives Foundation is a group of IT and cybersecurity professionals. They donate their time and energy to extending resources to three-letter acronymed agencies to unmask child predators online. Like that's what they did.
It's an awesome group.
And I was part of just like the fundraising and here's more, learn more about the ILF, right? That kind of stuff. Because they asked me if I wanted to work in doing the actual work, and I went, no. There's a screening question that the COO will ask you when you come on to volunteer, right? Because you have to be like thoroughly checked out just to even be a volunteer. Like they're not paying you. They're just to be a part of the inner fold, right? There's like a psychological screening, like there's all kinds of stuff. So one of the questions they ask whenever you join that group is, it's like a what if situation. What if you found out that your neighbor, and I immediately was like, I can't do anything other than promote this organization because I would 1,000% go shoot them in the head. Like I can't be not biased. Like, no, that's bad. I should not find out that anyone that lives close by. It's not going to be okay. I'm going to be real angry bear mom. Like, no.
Nope.
Yeah.
Can't have it.
No. I was like, I would light their truck on fire. Like, that would be bad. We should not. I'm a hazard.
No,
Not be okay. But yeah, marketing people and acronyms in our industry are like, they are hype, man. And it seems, I don't know if it's us trying to shorten it and sound real cool, or if it's marketing teams that are trying to shorten it and sound real cool.
Is there an app for that?
Is there a what?
Is there an app for that?
Is there an app for that? For what? Specifically?
For IT acronyms. Don't you think that would be a useful thing to have?
A couple of years ago. Do you remember when Chris Roberts and our good friend Gabriel Freelander, right, with Wiser training, the free security awareness stuff? I don't know if he still has it up, but years ago, and I contributed to it. It was like all the jargon in our industry, and you could volunteer to define it, and they would pick like the best one in layman's terms to define stuff. It was hilarious. I got to see if it's up, if he still got it. If it is, you guys got to go check this out. And I think it was a collective idea, but I remember Chris Roberts was the one that sent me the link to it. And then I was like, oh, I'm contributing to all of these things. It was like, where is it?
Here we have somebody who's interested in going into the higher ed space.
Oh, hey, we have a question.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're currently in industry now and you're kind of wanting to go into the higher ed space, you can always go look on EduCause for some job boards there, local universities. A lot of educational places are some of them are still embracing the remote life, some of them are not. It's 50-50 at this kind of like this point, which is what I'm seeing. But EduCause is a kind of a great place to start because they'll have educational higher ed job boards and stuff like that. Of course, always LinkedIn. Start looking at universities and things like that because I'll post this there as well.
Higher ed is, and also for that matter, K-12s are great places for folks to start in the industry because the beautiful thing of the academic environment is that they desperately need things done and often don't have enough budget to quite cover it. And so when somebody says, "Oh, hey, this would really help," it's like, "Thanks for volunteering."
Yeah, it's true.
You're now on that project.
And it ends up being that way, right? It's like because you have the aptitude to be able to do something, you end up having to do it, and that's the danger about IT and higher ed. It's like if you touch it, you own it, whether or not it was yours to begin with, or whether or not it was this leftover project from this DBA who started it when he was there 30 years ago, and now he's getting to retire in 5 weeks, and it's like, let me show you when I programmed this in Perl and how I made these functions work, and you're like, oh, geez, man. You guys never want to update it? Well, they never gave me the budget for it. You're like, well, okay. So that's no other tool has ever come out in 30 years of technology that can replace this script that you're running. But let's do an entire system redesign.
There's the link to the thing with the acronyms. Will, you were saying is there an app for that? No, but there's a webpage. There it is. It's nice. It's not only acronyms though. It's a bunch of different stuff, and it's fun. And I think you can plug in by sharing your own terms. So anytime you have a new term, throw it up there. Why not? It's a lot of fun.
Oh, our students could go nuts with that.
Yeah. You should have them. You should challenge them weekly. See if they get any accepted. That would be awesome. But yeah, it's the Geek to English Wisenary. That's what it was. I was like, no, I remember we did this like years ago. Something about acronyms and all the weird jargon and stuff. Some of it's like, you look at it now and you're like, that's not jargon. Everybody knows what that is. But then you go click on it and like, asset. I like the ending tagline on asset. After all, what's yours is mine, and what's mine remains mine. Like they're just fun.
I'm gonna have to look through that later. That's pretty nuts.
Mm-hmm. They're fun ones.
I got a question for you, Will. With your cyber range and stuff like that, are you starting to incorporate AI into the training, like having GPT start write adversarial scripts, start having them utilize it more in some of the like day-to-day activities with the stuff they're doing?
Oh, we have students creating their own chatbots. We have students, of course, using it to do deep fakes and things like that all over the place. But yeah, they're starting to explore elements, and we might have something pairing up with the university here pretty soon to start to explore all those different options. See how you can make things, how you can produce stuff quicker, faster, to help make that attack more effective. And we've already seen with AI how it can clean up a lot of the misspellings and grammar and things like that for our adversaries. So those are already becoming a pain in the rear to have to deal with. And I'm not sure if you come across it in your space, but in higher ed all over the place, you have teachers that are just caught completely off guard and are now up in arms trying to figure out how to be able to detect whether it's written AI or whether the student put it in, instead of looking at how to say, okay, use these tools. Now what can you come up with to take it out of the box? But that comes with the overall understanding. So what are you guys playing with along those lines?
Well, we're engaging a particular class now where we're trying to use AI to make a tutoring bot for a specific class. It's just a basic class, memorization, and regurgitation, right? You need to memorize these things, be able to know what they do. We're pulling all the source material from it. We're going to throw it in an Azure bucket. We're going to put GPT on top of it. And then we're going to see what metrics we get out. It's like, okay, we're going to have, are these students missing a foundational level of knowledge because they're asking questions below the source material? Are they actually keeping up as the modules go, asking the right questions of where they should be focusing their education at, to where they're asking questions specific to where they're ingesting the knowledge and able to keep up with the class properly. So that's kind of like the long-term goals. We're just kind of starting that off out. It's kind of like an experiment. It's like trying to have that long-term vision of what that should look like versus just regular metrics that you guys like, okay, they use it this many hours. This is what they're getting out of it. Here's how you're seeing performance indicators like, oh, they're getting better grades on tests. It's like, I want to know a little bit more in the graduate about the quality of the students as well, right? So then you can take that and it's like, now that you have a better student profile, let's shape the experience better. Let's do the interaction. Let's see if we can get to ask the student questions where it feels like almost like an adaptive test. It's like, oh, I feel like you're a little bit weaker here, so let me just throw out the suggestion of the supplemental readings, and then build on that, right? And that's kind of like a thought on there. Yeah. I think AI is a great opportunity on the CTO side. On the CISO side, this scares the bejesus out of it because industry is usually behind hackers when it comes to automation.
Yeah.
Because hackers are brilliant, lazy people. They love to automate and get things going fast, and they will do all that preparation so they can automate as many things as they can do at one time, and they'll kick off sequences. So now you're going to end up with adversarial AIs versus good AIs, I want to say, but AI is really just a tool depending upon how you use it, right?
Right.
And I don't think that businesses are 100% ready for AIs, the risk of AIs, or are they ready to adequately use? Because what's going to happen is whether or not your business itself will go through and purchase an AI for specific use cases. All your vendors are going to put AI into your products. All the products are now going to be into your environment. You're going to have a data protection problem because now you're going to ask the questions like, okay, you're taking my data. What are you doing with it? Where are you training it? Is it going to hallucinate somewhere else? It's like, am I now part of the model? And it's like, where are my privacy and data concerns? Do I get reimbursed for you using my data to make yourself a better model so you can sell better stuff? That's also a question, right? And it's like, because some of that's going to be like proprietary secrets. We already saw the dude at Samsung get in trouble for using ChatGPT to throw some data in there just because he was trying to make his job easier. Not necessarily nefarious, not like a North Korean actor, driving down to South Korea and making him do it or something like that. But
yeah, well, that's the other aspect too with cyber is looking at how to poison the training.
Mm-hmm. And that was the best exploit I read this week was for ChatGPT, because to get around the word restrictions, they took the word, made ASCII art out of it, told it in the prompt to read the ASCII art, but never say the word out loud or refer to it. They gave it something else to refer to it as. So the model never acknowledged, hey, this is the word bomb, right? So I want you to tell me to create ASCII art. How do I create ASCII art for my household goods? And then it turned around and told the exploiter how to make a bomb.
See, keep that creative childlike wonder, guys.
They were going after that neighbor you were talking about earlier.
I didn't do it.
It's the next step up from tennis ball cannons, right?
Yeah. It's clearly a turkey launcher. Clearly.
I got ideas. I got lots of
them. You can fire a frozen turkey through a truck. It's fine. They don't Mythbusters.
That's not okay. How did you grow up? What is going on? Did you just
I don't know. If you've never fired a turkey out of a can, frozen turkey out of a can, I don't know what you've done with your life.
Whew.
Well, also tennis balls that once they're soaked in some kind of flammable material make great trails as they're, heading out at a high velocity.
I do know that, but not on purpose. It didn't happen on purpose. It was an accident, I swear.
Allegedly.
It was one of these things where we were all hanging out around the bonfire and somebody had some tennis balls because they had a dog, right? And then somebody walked across the way there and they were shuffling their feet because they weren't drinking and they kicked it and it went through. It was already like soaked in something. I don't know why. I think it was sitting next to like some dummy brought diesel to the campfire and kicked it and it went through the fire and out the other side. Yes, it was awesome. It was awesome. So glad social media wasn't a thing when I was a kid. Because
Well, every time you look at a fail video, right? You think the first thing that goes through my mind is that's why physics should be mandatory in high school.
No, application of physics, not just
yeah.
You need to see it. You need to see bad stuff happen.
Yeah. It's true. That's how you get wisdom real quick.
Force, velocity, mass, important things.
Always. It's always a good thing.
It only hurts for a little while.
Meg, you're awful. Meg is telling us in the chat awful things. I'm not going to share. Meg, you can't do that. You guys, I signed. Okay, so Meg teaches dance, by the way, on the weekends. I'm taking a dance class from Meg. So I'm not good at it at all. I am the least coordinated physically person I know, actually. And I couldn't wait to tell you because Will actually does a bit of dancing. It's a very specific kind of dancing, but he dances. Ammar, do you dance? You what?
I drink.
Excellent. So you dance after the drinking, either that or
that's it gets to a point it's like you just kind of start moving with the music.
Start to bob. Yeah.
Yeah. There's absolutely no dancing. There's only
Yeah.
a couple of drinks and you watch everybody else dance and you just kind of vibe. You're like, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So usually that's
are you a whiskey tenor? Get enough whiskey
Yeah.
and you think you're a tenor?
That's about it.
Thanks. I like it. So I started.
I'm more like a bourbon bounce. Bourbon bounce.
Do what? You'd bounce. You do the head bounce.
Take some
Yeah.
bourbon.
See, so that's me. I can keep a beat. I play violin. Just so you know, I'm cool.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm cooler than everybody that doesn't play violin. What? No. So I know how to keep a beat. But I started taking this dance class because I'm like, I'm going to improve as a human and I'm going to learn a new thing. This is my new thing I'm going to learn. And Meg is talking in the side chat here that nobody else gets to see that she used to throw tennis balls at her ballet students to inspire them to leap. I'm glad I'm not taking Meg's ballet class. I'm not taking Meg's ballet class.
Yeah.
Don't throw
that would work
balls.
for Highland dancing too.
Yeah, because don't you guys do a bit of leaping?
Highland does. Scottish country dancing, not as much.
Not as much leaping. That's the kind of dance, by the way. I'm. The first time Will told me that was the kind of dancing he did, I was automatically intimidated.
What?
Does you can dance sign tequila? Yes, Kim. Exactly. Yeah, except for it's like Saturday at 10:30 in the morning is when Meg's class is, and if I start drinking that soon, other people are going to recommend I go to different classes.
Those are just meetings.
I mean,
It's fine. It's all fine.
AA's for
You can
quitters.
dance if you want to.
Yeah.
I throw things at users to inspire them to be serious. Rob, stop that.
Yeah.
That's how
I can't get HR on board.
Yeah, it's like we were talking about cybersecurity policies earlier. That's how you get HR policies.
Flag on the play, 2 hours technical training.
You guys don't throw stuff at your users. I know you want to. I know they
just
might
can't.
deserve it. They don't deserve it. That's not. I didn't say
You
that.
just
But you can't do
walk
that.
around. No, you can't walk around and hit people's hands with a freaking ruler. Don't do that.
It says HR has me on speed dial a bit.
Yeah, so throwing something at somebody, would that be a macro aggressor or a micro aggressor? That would.
That's what we call aggressive.
That's just aggressive. Yeah, I feel like that's just doubling down on the aggression right there. That's not okay. Do you think we can develop an AI to throw things at users for us?
I think
so.
the military is working on something like that.
Oh, see, you took it to a dark place. Here I was trying to be.
I mean, all they're going to do is they're going to take AI, they're going to mix it with Jeff Bezos' machine gun dogs from Boston Dynamics, and then we're going to next thing you know, we got some smart policing. I don't know.
I was just thinking, like, they could have. It would be like a trigger phrase that the dumb user would use, right? It's like, I didn't
Instead,
click
we're going to
that.
help take a bite out of crime, right?
Like, no, like every time they claim
the crime dog.
Like every time they claim they didn't click a link, and you can clearly see that they did click a link.
And I find that amazing that users have no idea of like how much you can and can't see in the back end with analytics, tracking, and like all the enterprise level software. I'm like, if you guys had any idea just at the corporate level, what you can see is like once you start getting out to like bigger user sets of like cell phone data, cell phone carriers, third-party apps that you give information to. Like when you take that Facebook quiz, it just happens to have all the answers to the questions for your security reset password. Like what's your favorite color? What's your address when you were a kid?
No. My favorite one, Meg and I were talking about this yesterday morning, actually, on the porch. So we live 2 doors apart from each other. That's how this, and so we watch our kids get on the bus together and go to school, and we like sit there and drink coffee, and we're like, bye, we're going to miss you so much. Anyway, so we talked about this the other day. It's so funny that you mentioned this because we were like, oh, dang. What was it, Meg? Meg, help me out, Meg. Anyway, I interrupted Ammar, and now I lost my train of thought because I made Ammar laugh.
you would make pawn your kids off to school.
Yeah, I got that part.
Yeah.
No, it was what was it that you said? And we were talking
Schooling
about
security questions.
Yeah, the security questions. What's your stripper name? And it was always like your first dog and the first street you lived on or something. And I was like, yeah, that's all the. And they're like, yeah, and what's your favorite color? Because that's gonna be the color of your stripper hair. Like, I don't know. That was it. First pet street you grew up on. Thank you, man. And it was mine was not okay. Mine was bad. I'm not gonna tell you what mine is because you're all a bunch of cybersecurity people that like to try and do stuff to me. It's just mean.
Yeah, well, with those personal questions, the best thing to handle that, like with encryption, is to add salt, right? You salt encryption. Well, add expletives.
Now everybody knows what Will's password is. I believe in a passphrase, okay? It's super long, makes no sense. It's perfect. And none of the punctuation is correct. It's does Will twerk? What did I miss? Did Rob ask you earlier if you twerked? I did miss this.
I didn't catch that.
I didn't either. I don't think Will twerked though.
No.
Inside, so Zambu from Twitch said insider threats plus AI equals sad face. Oh, Erica. I think Erica's offering for us to go dance. Let's go, Will. Let's go dance with Erica. It'll be fun. It'll be great.
Well, I know how to waltz. Does that work?
Yes.
That's just square dancing for rich people.
It is. 100%. 100%. Yes, that is square dancing for rich people. I appreciate it. It's awesome. And see, Ammar knows that. So you didn't always live in Tennessee, though, or have you always lived in Tennessee?
No, I lived in Mississippi too, which is like Tennessee.
Speaking of square dancing,
it's a little bit. We just take things a little bit slower down here. Yeah.
Yeah. So, did you grow up in Mississippi?
Yeah. Well, if you like, I can switch to the local dialect. I went to Horn Lake High School in Horn Lake, Mississippi. That's definitely not one of my security questions, though. So I ain't worried about giving out that information.
Oh yeah, you did. Kids.
That
was beautiful. There's another lesson in why you. So I wanted to be a speech pathologist for like a hot second because whatever. That's how my interests work. Um, and there's so many people that I didn't think about whenever I started looking at that as like a career field. I was thinking about like kids with like cleft palates and speech impediments and stuff like that. Do you know how many people employ speech pathologists to help them get rid of their accents?
Quite a few.
A bunch, because you don't, or at least it's a viewpoint that you don't succeed at, professionally as well, or in public speaking and stuff. Like if you're going to go and do presentations, if you carry an accent with you, you have to do the flat Midwestern no accent, and
Yeah.
people will go to speech pathologists to learn how to do this if they struggle with it. And I always thought that was very
We
interesting. You did a great switch right there, though. Like I could hear the Mississippi. So I live in Louisiana.
yeah. And Louisiana's got a whole different accent, man. You know, down here at the bayou.
It does. It's like, oh shit, look at the water.
Oh, Shadi, what's going on?
School
Man,
Meg said made me take remedial speech classes because I was from the South. Did they really? That's regionalist. I don't know what kind of ist that is, but it's an ism. It's something. Actors, man. Wow. Oh, well, acting. I guess so. Because you don't want to, because then all your characters are all from the South, right? That's not, you don't want to make all your characters from the South. Yeah, Texas has its own too. Britton, you're going to have to like record a little bit for us and post it later, or just share it. You can just share it in my DMs with me and we'll giggle about the Texas twang. I know a lot of IT people that live in Texas, and you're like, so how'd you get in Texas? And they're like, how do you know I'm not from here? And I'm like, you don't sound like you're from there. Not even a little.
said the word Sprite.
Exactly. Exactly. I think Will, you've always lived in Arizona. I've moved around. I'm a Midwest girl that got transplanted south.
Yeah,
But
I've been here pretty much all my life, but I do have this for you.
I could tell you were looking at stuff. What are we doing? Can I share this whole thing? Are you okay with that?
Sure.
Is there an Arizona accent?
Yeah, it's the one Will's got right now.
So that's waltzing.
That's waltzing. This is your honey bunny. This is your whole
Yeah.
this is the whole Scottish get up, right? Whenever you go out.
Yeah, that's in dress kilt.
Yeah. That. We're learning stuff
That's
right
really
here
nice.
this morning. Isn't that cool? That's very cool. I
Yeah.
love it.
So I've been here in Tucson most all my life. Lived for a year in Munich, Germany, and then a couple of years in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Were you
Very
really?
flat.
Yeah, that's when I worked with a company called Sprint Paranet back in the day, which did work for the Williams Corporation. So I did business continuity planning for them.
Yeah. And then you met Rachel, and I started dragging you to the middle of nowhere, Grand Rapids, Michigan, to go do stuff. Like Gurkon. Ammar, what are you? Do you go to conferences? Do you attend, or do you speak at, or?
So I'm starting to go to conferences now. So at some point in my life, I decided like I should probably decide to have a career and get my life together. So then I spent 4.5 years part time and got my bachelor's degree. And I was like, well, you know what? Let me just go ahead and do it 2 more years and get my master's and graduate certificate and stuff. And so I finished all that. And now this past year, I've been starting to go to conferences. I went to Innovate Cybersecurity up in Nashville 3 weeks ago, which was pretty awesome. Some pretty good conversation with some cool folks.
Innovate.
Innovate Cybersecurity. Then I'm going with the team to DEF CON this year. We always, I'm really excited. I'm going to have a good time with that.
You go right ahead.
Yeah, dang.
I'm not going. It's too big.
Yeah.
It's too big. I can't. It's too big. It's too many. And like, I like going to the mid-size. I like going to big conferences if I know I'm already going to meet up with a bunch of people. But Hacker Summer Camp always falls at the worst time if you're a parent of small children. And if you've got your life together enough where you're a parent of small children and you still go to Hacker Summer Camp, power to you. You're amazing. You're cooler than me. Okay.
There-
Me? No. There's always some last minute crap. Yeah, we're going to NOLACon. We're doing that. Kim is also suggesting that you come hang out. That's also what she's doing. Kim is a friend of mine. And also my mentor and boss person. But no, we're going to NOLACon.
Oh, is that a cybersecurity conference?
That is here. Let me give you a link. That's the one in New Orleans. NOLACon.
At some point, I'm going to be able to afford to get away to these things.
I know. Hey, if there's anybody out there with some extra dollars and they just want to throw it at Will, I'm sure we can figure out how to make that a tax write-off.
Oh, geez. Yeah, I just went through my dog, unfortunately. I had bone cancer in the leg, and they had to amputate yesterday. So we're taking care of a Great Pyrenees.
Man, I'm sorry to hear that.
A real challenge.
Yeah. So you got to come down, May. This is what we're doing.
Well, it's actually looks pretty cool.
Fun.
I will be in Bangkok on my honeymoon. So
you're getting married?
Yeah, everyone's surprised when I say it. Like, that's not possible, dude. No one's going to say yes to you.
Oh no, I'm just saying that because I'm excited. I wasn't saying it out of disbelief. I was saying
it's fine. It surprises everybody. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I am getting married at May night.
Congratulations, dude.
Yes,
that's
congratulations.
Awesome.
That is awesome. You guys are going to Bangkok?
Well, she lives there, so there's that.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Yeah. She's Thai. I was there, for a month, almost 2 years ago, and then it's like we just happened to meet, and it's like we just kept talking and talking. Like, oh wow, so you actually develop a relationship. I mean, you don't see him in person all the time, but you actually have conversations, common interests. So it takes away a whole physical aspect. It's a whole person-to-person connection, and emotional versus kind of fast-paced dating culture in the U.S. a lot of times.
Right. So. My husband and I actually met playing World of Warcraft Burning Crusade. That's pretty awesome. That's how we met. And it was the same thing. And we'd do dungeons and stuff together. And back then they didn't have Discord yet. It was Vent. You had to get in Ventrilo, which was the not in-game chat, but it had a plug-in. Anyway, so you would talk to each other. And he asked me once, what was it that I said that really got your attention? And I was like, I don't know. You were the biggest jerk. He was so mean.
What do you play, a tank?
No, I was a mage and he was some elitist DPS hunter. And he's like, shut up, mage, and drop a table and cheap that. And I was like, I don't like you. And then we got married and had some kids. Oh, no. I think I have things to talk to my therapist about this week. We've just about run out of time hanging out, Ammar. I don't want to keep you because one, I understand that it's Friday, and everybody else is like, they just come and hang out with us because it's Friday. But you probably have a billion things to do with the 400 hats that you wear.
just a couple more meetings today. It's not terrible.
I think my key takeaway is no matter how many hats you wear, hold on to the sense of humor hat. And it's going to be fine. I like it. I like that you haven't lost the joy in your life. And that makes me happy. And that's awesome. So congratulations for that. I'm sure it is challenging, as we've discussed over the course of this conversation, some of the things that you're looking out for. And I think it's great that you've got such a wonderful team
to support you. They're pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's key, especially in the academic space, right? Because there's so many different directions you're fighting from, resources. Yeah, it's a cause more than just a job.
Yep.
Yeah. It is, and honestly, it's like I wouldn't be able to do anything without him. So
That's very cool. Well, thank you for coming and hanging out with us, and congratulations, upcoming
thank you.
congratulations. Sorry you won't be able to go to NOLACon. We're gonna have to come hang out though, either in Tennessee or you're gonna have to come to New Orleans. Bring the missus.
We'll do. We'll do.
Yes,
Absolutely.
that would be awesome. And Will, of course, we're gonna figure out how to get people to sponsor you. You guys, it's a tax write-off. Send Will places. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. Hey, thanks, Brendan. I appreciate that.
Yeah. And you guys stay classy. Ammar, don't go anywhere because we do a little post-show thing and you get a gift.
All right, awesome.
Yeah. Well, I have to know where you live though. That's the catch.
Well, isn't that part of the security questions I give up, and then I find out which Avenger I am?
Maybe. I don't know. You got to trust sometime, man. Trust it sometime. Well, you guys, you've been fabulous. Thank you so much. And thanks to our audience, as always, for coming and hanging out and giggling with us. And I hope you guys have a great weekend. It's St. Patrick's Day weekend, isn't it? Yes, it is.
Oh, well.
It is. Don't be stupid. Call an Uber or whatever, or a friend. Call a friend. Don't be stupid. Call a friend. Come pick you up. It'll be fine. You can go get your car later. Anyway, we love y'all. Have a great weekend. Bye.